Hello students, today I will take up law and order topic. This topic is supposed to be very important wherever BPSC is concerned. You know, there have been regular questions on this topic. Even last year there was question on this topic. Usually every year they ask question. So in general, you can prepare this topic for general study also. The law and order topic is very relevant. Even you go for interview, question can be asked on law and order. Then today I will discuss what is law and order, what is its historical background, what is constitutional provision with regard to law and order, then what is the role of central government in maintaining law and order, what is the role of state government in maintaining law and order, what is police administration with regard to law and order, what are issues in law and order, and what are, you can say, reforms and measures taken in recent to manage law and order. You know, law and order is definitely one of the most important, you can say, function of public administration. You can say it can be one of the few very important function of governance. When there was, police state, there was a small kingdom and number of functions were very limited. Even then, law and order was supposed to be a very important one. And today, when government performs more than 2000 functions, law and order is still very important. So law and order is definitely, you can say, precondition for governance, you can say development, prosperity, and you can say our survival and continuity. So law and order is very, very important topic. That's why we have always very concerned about this topic, particularly in Bihar, where law and order is definitely a big issue. Get your point? So I will like to discuss what is law and order. If someone asks you what is law and order, then you can say law and order is consisted of two words, law and order. Law means what? Law means some rule, regulation to regulate society and a state. Getting point? And what is order? Order is basically used in two terms, managerial terms and in sociological terms. In management, order means everything has its own place and everything is placed on its own place. Get it right? Everything has its own place. A place for everything and everything on its own place. This is called order. Getting a point? And what is in sociological perspective? There is harmony, there is peace, there is fraternity among individuals. That is order. Getting a point? And if there is maintenance of, you can say, peace and harmony in society, effective execution of law, then we can say there is law and order. If suppose you go in interview and the interviewer asks you what is law and order, then what you will say? You will say law and order is a specific situation in administration, as an ideal situation in administration, an important condition in administration in which on the one hand there is effective execution of law, on the other hand there is peace and harmony in society. Person can move freely from one place to another and pursue legitimate business, get up on legitimate profession as they wish. They can reside, they can move, they can transit from one place to another without having any fear. That is called law and order. Get a point? So, law and order is basically, you can say, precondition for everything. Here I try to point out one thing, that law and order is basically concerned with governance, law and order is concerned with development, law and order improves your image and opens possibility and potentiality, and it is basically passport of prosperity. So you can see the country where law and order is good, the state where law and order is good, the place where law and order is good, and compare with the place or country when law and order is poor, you will find strange difference between these two. In Western country, particularly America or Europe or Australia, you go and find how the law and order is there. Wherever, even you go to UAE, you find there is effective law and order. There is strong punishment against all offenses. Get your point? And if you go to some country where their law and order is problem, like Syria, then Iraq, then you can say Afghanistan, you may find what is actual situation of development there. Even in Pakistan, you can find what is actual situation. Even in India, if you talk of, you go to Bihar, you go to UP, and you compare with development with Maharashtra and Gujarat, you will find there is definitely difference. So law and order is a very important thing. If law and order is good, then governance will be effective one. Get your point? And development will be very effective, securely ensured. Get your point? And the image, the corporate image, the overall image of state, nation will improve. And FDI will be attracted, foreign investment will be attracted, and that will bring prosperity also. So there was one question in BPSC. The question was asked in last time, law and order is prerequisite of sustainable development. Analyze this statement with reference to Bihar state. If this question comes, this question is very general type question. Here one is supposed to know what is law and order and with different dimensions, but it is not confined to law and order only. It is related to development also. So I just try to point out that if law and order is good, then how it is related to agriculture, how it is related to small and medium scale industry, how it is related to heavy industry, how it is concerned with service sector, how it is concerned with interstate commerce, how it is concerned with interstate trade, international trade, how it is concerned with FDI and portfolio investment. If law and order is good, agriculture will flourish. If law and order is good, a small and medium-sized industry, ancillary industry will flourish. If law and order is good, heavy industry will function effectively. If law and order is good, service sector will get boosted up. If law and order is good, there will not be any difficulty in interstate commerce. If law and order is good, international trade will be affected, and ultimately there will be FDI, portfolio investment. So everything will be corrected if there is law and order. You know what happened? Why FDI is not attracted to India and they are attracted to China only? Because China was in position to give guarantee of law and order. That's why all multinational companies invested their heavy capital in China, and in return China become economic world power presently. Get a point? And why India could not afford it? Because India could not give message to them that it can provide effective law and order to them. Get a point? In India also, FDI came and Maharashtra, Gujarat, etc. benefited a lot, but Bihar did not get benefit. Why? Because Bihar could not give guarantee of effective law and order in the state. Get a point? So foreign investors were not very, you can say, comfortable with Bihar situation. That's why they did not invest here. And as a result, prosperity, you can say, quality of life, it was not affected properly. That's why I tell you, you're required to give guarantee of law and order. If law and order is good, all is well. Get a point? But law and order is not very easy, as I told. It is like share market. Get a point? What happens? What is reason why share gets disturbed? No one can give you objective conclusion or objective explanation. Why share is having hike or gets lowered? What is the reason why there is ups and down in share market? There can be any reason. So there can be any reason for law and order. If there is, suppose there is no regular supply of electricity for a week, then what will happen? People will come on the street and they start demonstrating. If there is increasing thefts and dacoity in roads, then what will happen? Local will start demonstrating against government and police organizations. Getting point, if suppose there is some tussle between two family, two community, law and order situation becomes very difficult. So law and order can be affected by either of factors. There cannot be any prediction. So you require to maintain everything on order. Then only you can give guarantee of effective law and order. And if there is effective law and order, then only you can ensure guarantee of development. So that is a very important point. So sometimes the question arises that whether law and order influence development or gets influenced by development. Both are equally correct. If law and order is good, development will flourish. If you can say development is hampered, then definitely it will matter law and order also. Why? I can give you one example. When India got independence, everyone had has dreamed that now we become independent, now India will become developed one, we will get due the benefits of development what was undue for a long period. Get a point? Which was waited for long period. Now India become independent. Now that is our own rule. So we will be benefited. India adopted developed land economy, India adopted development administration, India brought land reform, evolution of zamindari system. But what happened? If you take off zamindari system, the lands were withdrawn from zamindar and distributed to landless laborers. What happened? The paper was given but not possession. And when people people went to land to have possession, what happened? There was tussle, there was tension, there was court kacheri, and ultimately they get nothing. When they become hopeless, they started going against like anti-development thesis, like they took a banduk in their hands and become Naxal of the site. So what happened since development did not took place properly? Say our Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi told that 1 rupee from center reaches 15 paisa at the grassroots level. And what about 85 paise? They got in the stomach of leaders, bureaucrats and middlemen. That's why we find in recent plight of, you can say laborer from Bihar and UP due to lockdown. At a point, they are not in position to get proper employment in their state because only 15 paisa reach to there, and there is sleek development. As a result, forcibly they were to migrate to big state like industrial state like Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, etc. But when government announced lockdown and they were not in position to survive for a week, then they did not have any option other than to getting back to their native state. So then we came to know what is actual situation of development in country. On the one hand, we talk of big claims, but on the other hand, our large number of people are not in position to feed even for a week or for a fortnight. So this is actual situation of development. So that is some sort of lopsided development, and this lopsided development led to emergence of law and order issue, including Naxalism, terrorism, then other sort of discrepancy. Very point. And due to Naxalism and you can say extremism, now development is also getting affected. Now in those areas there is Naxalism and extremism, the development program is not supposed to be implemented effectively. No official effort to go there and collect revenue. No officer effort to go there and implement development scheme. So what is happening there? Some sort of, you can say, vicious circle of misery, some sort of entropy tendency, and ultimately what will happen? That will lead to disintegration. self-destruction. So this is the situation we are moving to. That's why it requires some sort of intervention. Get a point? Some sort of intervention we require. It can be possible through you can direct injecting funds to them. You make sure that 1 rupee from center should reach complete 1 rupee to individual. There should not be any middleman to make corner of this one. Get your point? So this thing you require to see. You have to see what you commit, what you give promise. It should come in reality also. There should not be only formalism like there should be discrepancy between statement and reality. This tendency should be removed. Anyway, so I must tell you, if the question comes how law and order is basically concerned with development, sustainable development, then you can discuss this answer. How law and order is concerned with agriculture, how law and order is concerned with the smallest cottage industry, how law and order is concerned with heavy industry, and how law and order is concerned with service sector, and how law and order is concerned with interstate commerce, international trade, and FDI. Then only one can expect proper development, sustainable development, inclusive growth in a country. So law and order is the first and foremost important thing. And it has not been presently new one. It has been from right from beginning, even during Mughal administration, even during Mauryan administration. You know, during Mauryan administration, who was responsible for law and order? Nayak and Pradeshti. Nayak and Pradeshti were responsible for law and order. During Mughal administration, who was responsible for law and order? Then Fauzdar and Kotwal. Fauzdar was head of Sarkar, and you can say Kotwal was head of law and order in town. Getting a point? But what the system we have, it was developed during British rule. Getting a point? I tell you, in 1673, for the first time, police station was established in Bombay. The first police station was opened in Bombay in 1673. And 1765, getting a point, the abolition of Devani system in Bengal and Thanedari Vyavastha was established. The Thanedar was first established, Daroga system you can say, in 1792. Getting point? 1772, you know, this was created. What you can say? In the post of collector was created by Warren Hastings. District collector post was created by Warren Hastings. And 1781, he was given the magistracy power to maintain law and order also in 1781. Get a point? In 1900, you can say 1700, the 1861, that is very important point. 1808, the post of district superintendent of police was created. The SP post was created in 1808, and 1860 Indian Police Commission was established, and the National Police, on the recommendation of National Police Commission, Indian Police Act was enacted, through which collector was made responsible for law and order at district level, and this superintendent of police was made subordinate to him. And at a state level, the post of Inspector General was created. Get a point? And 1902, the post of, you can say, DSP was created. So what system we have in police administration, whatsoever we have, it developed during British rule. First I told 1673, first police station in Bombay. Get a point? 1792, the Daroga system was introduced. 1772, collector, and 1781, collector was given ministerial power. 1808, post of SP was created, and 1902, the post of DSP was created. Getting a point? 1860, One, Indian Police Act is very important wherever law and order is concerned. According to this act, heading point, at district level, collector is responsible and SP is supposed to assist him. And apex level, at state level, the post of IG was created. And this act also separated police from military. So military was separated through this act also. Getting point, this act continued even after independence. As I told you right from beginning, law and order has been a subject of local importance. That's why it was kept under state list. But you know, India is union of state in which there is dominance of unitary feature over federal structure. That's why in law and order matter also there is dominance of unitary feature. So under union list and concurrent list, there are several subjects on which center can make law and influence law and order situation in state. Getting point? As per law and order is concerned in Indian Constitution, I tell you what are provision. In a state list, there is public order, police, prison, reformatories, justice administration. These come under police state list. Under concurrent list, there is IPC, CRPC, preventive detention, removal of prisoner from one state to another, getting upon drugs, poisons, forest, newspaper come under concurrent list. And union list, defense of India, getting point, deployment of paramilitary forces in the state, firearms, ammunition, then explosive, CBI, NIA, preventive detention with respect to defense and foreign affairs. Then you can say union institution and agency for training and research and development related to crime, IPS, International Police Organization, getting point, an amendment of British rule. These all subjects lie with union list, and Parliament is to make law on this one. That's why through which center can influence law and order in a state effectively. Getting point? So these are things you require to keep in mind, that under union list there are several subjects, and concurrent list, and even during a state list, center can make law on a specific condition and influence law and order situation. So law and order virtually becomes a matter of, you can say, concurrent importance, where center and state both can influence effectively. Getting point? There is no difficulty as such. Now, as I told that law and order has very important thing, I told that it has direct relation with, you can say, law, prosperity, sustainable development, you can say FDI, and you can say inclusive growth also. Now I will discuss one by one what is role of central government in maintaining law and order, what is role of state government in maintaining law and order. Today I will take the role of central agency in maintaining law and order. Then the question arises, when law and order is state subject, then why center is much interested in maintaining or influencing law and order? Can you tell me why? Then one point you can cite, that since center is ultimately responsible for maintaining unity, integrity of country. Number two, you can say center has its establishment and employ in states, and to protect them is center's responsibility. Number three, you can say law and order is basically effect, and cause can be either it can be rooted in some, deep rooted in some other sectors which state may not be in position to assess and control them. That's why the center interferes in it. Then, sometimes due to political reason, state let disworsen the law and order situation. And last, sometimes state also requires centers help to maintaining law and order. Then you can say law and order is now become very complicated, and a single state is not in position to control effectively. That's why center requires to interfere in it. Getting a point? So these are some reasons why center interferes or center takes interest in maintaining law and order in states. Getting a point? So what are mechanisms through which center influence law and order in the state? So the four most important institutions at central level, that is Ministry of Home Affairs. That is the most important agency which influence entire administration of Government of India, including state administration to large extent. Getting point? This ministry is the biggest organization at union level. It has 6 departments. First department is called Department of Internal Security. Second is called Department of State. Third is called Department of Home. Fourth is called Department of Jammu Kashmir. Fifth is called Department of Border Management, and last Department of Official Language. So this ministry is basically the biggest one in maintaining or concerned with law and order, particularly Department of you can say Internal Security and Department of Home, very important one wheresoever law and order is concerned. Getting a point? Department of Internal Security maintains a deals with Indian Police Service, Central Paramilitary Forces, then law and order, insurgency, terrorism, Naxalism, foreign activity, grants of visa, etc., security clearance, etc. Then Department of State deals with inter-state relation, interstate relation, police reform, prison reforms, human rights, etc. Then the Home Department concerned with President and Vice President, assumptions of office, notification of appointment and resignation of Prime Minister, Ministers, Governor, etc. Then you can say Jammu Kashmir Department is concerned with all matters related to internal matters related to Jammu Kashmir, excluding foreign affairs. Getting point? Then Department of Border Management, this is new one. It deals with management of international border, including coastal border, strengthening of border security, and creation of related infrastructure, etc. The next one, Department of Official Language, is concerned with implementation of Official Language Act 1963. So these are the departments which involve at central level, particularly Department of Internal Security play a very significant role wheresoever law and order is concerned. At central level, there are several central police forces deployed in maintaining law and order in the state. These forces are Assam Rifles, Border Security Force, Central Industrial Security Force, then Central Reserve Police Force, Indo-Tibetan Border Police, National Security Guard, Sashastra Seema Bal, Railway Protection Force. These are 8 in number. They are called Central Police Forces applied or deployed in maintaining law and order, in which the Assam Rifle, the oldest one, it is concerned with law and order with regard to India-Myanmar border and northeastern region. And then Border Security Force is to prevent smuggling and you can say border security in India-Pakistan border and India-Bangladesh border. Then Central Industrial Security Force is for security, providing security for important establishment and security VIP to important personality to country. Then CRPF is basically Reserve Police Ball, and it is applied in all, you can say, situation, including law and order, terrorism, Naxalism, everywhere, particularly Jammu Kashmir. They are getting deployment there and maintaining very important role here. Then you can say railway, rapid, it has two wings: Rapid Action Force, that is RAP, that is created in 1992 for controlling the communal tension, and COBRA in 2008. It is subdivision of CRPF to maintain Naxal problem. And Indian Tibetan Border Police is basically concerned with India-China border, and basically China, India, Myanmar tri-juncture. So it is very important one. Then you can say National Security Guard is responsible for protection of very important personalities of country. Getting a point? Suraksha Seema Bal is for Indo-Nepal border, and Railway Protection Force is for protection of property and passenger of railway. Getting point? And in addition to that, there are several police organizations, central police organizations like Bureau of Police Research and Development, then National Crime Record Bureau, then Central Fingerprint Bureau, then Directorate of Forensic Science, then you can say National Institute of Criminology and Forensic Science, then Central Forensic Science Laboratory, Directorate of Coordination Police Wireless, Narcotics Control Bureau, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Academy, National Police Academy, Northeastern Police Academy. These union agency or institution are concerned with, you can say, training and research and development related to crime and provide support to state in maintaining law and order. There are several central intelligence agencies also working to maintain law and order, like IB, like Research and Analysis Wing, that is RAW. Then you can say Central Economic Intelligence Bureau, then Directorate of Central Excise Intelligence, then Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, then Financial Intelligence Unit, then National Technical Research Organization, NTRO. These are basically concerned with intelligence work and maintains pre-active action. Getting points, they collect information regarding to security and integrity of country and take preventive measure to control them. And there are several investigating agencies which do after incident, like CBI, then NIA, National Investigation Agency, then Directorate of Enforcement, ED, then you can say Central Bureau of Narcotics. They undertake investigation work and support the state in maintaining law and order. Getting a point? So these are not providing or performing first function, they are providing supporting function, auxiliary function to a state in maintaining law and order. In fact, law and order is maintained by state only, and central government provides support to them. Getting a point? So this is mechanism. So I will rather request you to attempt one question asked in BPSC. First, the question this was asked this time: how law and order is basically prerequisite of sustainable development. You can write this answer while having this presumption that how it influences agriculture, how it influences law, small and medium industry, how it influences heavy industry, service sector, primary sector, tertiary sector, secondary sector, interstate commerce, international trade, etc. And so that any country, if you have to ask with respect to Bihar also, then you can say in Bihar, if law and order is insecure, then only we can expect effective development. And it is important to point out that In previous year, due to effective assurance of law and order, Bihar is in position to give at least message to everyone that there is no law and order problem in Bihar, and Bihar is pursuing in development for process effectively, wheresoever the growth rate is concerned. State-wise, if you see, Bihar has highest record, but overall, since it is lagged far behind, that's why even having highest rate of growth, it is not in position to compare with Gujarat and Maharashtra presently. But the present trend shows that if the thing continues it for long period, it will definitely in position to become a developed state. So what I mean to say that law and order in Bihar is very, very important for development, for sustainable development, for inclusive growth. If you want to see growth in agriculture, if you want to see growth in small industry, heavy industry, tertiary sector, for FDI, then you have to maintain law and order. First, then only you can expect effective development here. There was one question in BPSC also in 53, 80, 49, 49, 52, 53 to 55 exam. There was one question asked in BPSC that discuss the role of central agency in maintaining law and order. So you have to write what is law and order, then why center takes interest, then what are subjects in subject concurrent list and union list through which parliament can make law, and now then you have to point out what are agencies like Ministry of Home Affairs, then Central Police Organization, then Central Intelligence Organization, then Central Investigative Agency, and afterward you have to conclude that center just provides support, center provides auxiliary role, center provides financial support, center provides technical support, while maintenance law and order is state affair, and it is state by state government with, you can say, police organization. So you have to write this one and post to me, and if you have any difficulty you can talk to me also. Okay, thanks, enjoy.